Welcome to Voices of Indianapolis, where we explore the narratives of innovators, collaborators, and communicators shaping our city. I'm Jeff Edge, your host on this journey. Join us as we uncover their strengths, glean insights into their views of Indianapolis, and unravel the qualities that make them exemplary role models. Through candid conversations, we aim to illuminate their impactful projects, collaborations, and communication efforts that are propelling our community forward. Together, we'll celebrate these influencers, fostering inspiration and dialogue to forge a stronger, more united Indianapolis. This is the last episode of the Voices of Indianapolis podcast, Season 1. At this time, I am joined by, once again, Pastor Jason Tabor of Cornerstone Lutheran Church. How you doing, Pastor?
I'm good. Glad to be back.
Yeah, you were our first guest. Has your social media footprint increased since that time?
Yeah, I'm so famous.
Oh, man. I'm sorry for all the extra Instagram follows and things like that, right? Probably can't even go out to a restaurant anymore.
I'm just me and Andrew Luck, right?
Yeah. Because this is the last episode, we called it Voices of Indianapolis, and I really wanted to encourage the students to find their own voice and encourage, find their sense of community, encourage a sense of community. Pastor, what sort of stuff have you seen from our students in our first year of this program?
Yeah, it's been really exciting to watch them really kind of, I would say, dive in. They have great curiosity questions about the neighborhood. They have great ideas for how we can serve the community. We talked, I think, earlier on about our food pantry and how many of them have been really excited about stocking the food box and paying attention to what sorts of things would be really good. And I think at one point we had a conversation about maybe even a little free library, collecting some kids' books and things to help with reading and things like that. So lots of them have helped in our neighborhood. They do some gardening for us. They do all sorts of great stuff. So.
Do you have any goals for next year with our partnership with this program at Cornerstone?
Yeah, we're really excited because we're about to start a hot meal program, a weekly hot meal program.
Yes.
And actually, our other guest today, who you've not introduced, but she was pretty instrumental in helping get some of that groundwork. So we'll talk as we go.
Yeah.
But really excited for how the students next year can engage with preparing meals, serving meals, engaging directly with community members through that process.
Excellent. You mentioned we have another guest on this podcast. She's actually the star of this week's episode. One of the great goals of this is that we try and bring in all these neighborhood influencers and the people who make our city great. And so it's a great honor to introduce Nat Neri Toledo at this time, who is now becoming a great voice in our community. Welcome to the podcast, Nat.
Hello.
Will you tell? So think about who's listening to this podcast, right? It's community folks, neighborhood folks, possibly some incoming students, right? Some freshmen next year who are just starting to learn about this program. Will you talk a little bit about who you are and sort of how you came to this program?
As in the internship program?
Just about PPHS in general.
Okay, so I love to help. And so when I came to, just in general, I was already curious because we were in the church. And so I was like, I met this lovely lady. Her name is Yeva. And so I was like, Yeva, I know that you're busy, but is there a way I can just take some of those things off your hand and make your life a little bit easier?
Yeah.
And so she gave me this task of just organizing and folding clothes. So simple, so little, something to do. So I started off doing that, and slowly as I started doing that, I was able to gradually get more helpful.
Sure.
Let's say that. And so I was starting to filling up the box, just organizing, and slowly I just was getting more curious and just finally figuring out what I really want, what really makes me happy, which is to help and see others' faces just blossom and just do great.
Would you say that you started this program with Yeva to get something out of it? Were you looking for something, or do you just enjoy helping and that's why you did it?
Nothing really. Wasn't looking for anything out of it. Just was bored and wanted to help.
Would you say that you ended up getting something out of it?
Yes.
What are those things?
Opportunities, that's definitely for sure. And then just a greater understanding of how I can help, because I just love to help, so I just jump to conclusions.
Oh, wow. Wonderful. Are you able to identify where that became part of your personality? Is there something, I think about teaching. I was a teacher and kindergartner, right? Because I used to run the board games for all the other kids. When the parent didn't show up to run board game day, I ran board game day, and I just really enjoyed it. Is there any story like that for you? Do you feel like I was 6 years old and I just loved helping, and that's who I am?
At this point, I'm convinced I came out the womb wanting to help. So I'm going to say it started when my mom was still working in a different place. So she would always come home and she'd do the dishes. I saw that she was just really tired and that she just really needed that help. So I would make sure to get up extra early in the morning and clean all the dishes. Just make sure I can do anything I possibly could to make her life easier.
Would you say it was empathy? You understand what that feels like? So
yes.
You had compassion. That's great.
For me, and it also sounds really bad, but I love to do chores if I'm not forced. So anything. So dishes, cleaning floors, cleaning the stove, making food. I just love to help. So that's just something she seemed like she needed help with. So I just jumped to that. I think it just started with, oh my goodness, I can start by helping my own mom.
That's amazing. Would you say that you've had a career highlight in your helping yet, where you said, "Man, I really saw a lot of influence and impact here. I really made somebody's day or somebody's life a lot better." Right? Where what would be on the resume of helping people?
I want to say helping with Santa, because other people didn't have to be the runner. I could be the runner, which made things a lot smoother. Yeah.
Pastor, did you want to add to that?
I do. I definitely have to get in on that, because what Nat is not telling you is that she came dressed up in costume, in a lovely sort of elf costume.
A Christmas tree.
A Christmas tree, sorry. And what she means by the runner was the person who was helping the kids and the families get their Santa picture and take that home with them. One of the things that we've recognized, this is true even of me and my own kid, all our pictures are digital now, right? Everything's on the phone. So there just aren't. We don't have a lot of like physical printed pictures. And so for the kids to get their picture and put it in a little frame and take it home, it's a Christmas memory at that point. And so what Nat is actually saying is she was helping to make Christmas memories for these families, and just did it in a really joyful, inviting, welcoming way.
Yeah. Was this the one that I was involved in?
Yes, this is the one where you were Santa. I wasn't sure if you wanted me to say that or not.
No, what was interesting about Nat with that process was that I didn't feel comfortable doing that. I knew the school. I knew that
you did it because it needed to be done.
But I did it because it needed to be done. But what's interesting about that process that I don't know if I told Nat was that I only was able to do it because Nat was willing to be the helper. Was that there was something about Nat being there and being the assistant that made me feel very safe and comfortable. And I was like, well, if I ever get into, like, it's going to be a scary thing, but if I have Nat there, it's going to take a lot of the pressure off because I know who she is. I know her ability to help. And like, she was just as instrumental, if not more instrumental than me. Yeah. Right. You want to talk about that process? Do you recognize that? Have I told you that? How you were the star of the show?
No, Santa was. The kids were excited for Santa.
But there would be no Santa without you, because I don't think I could have done it without you.
I think the main point is I have a really big thing for kids. I love kids. So the fact that I could go and just see all their tiny little squishy cheeks and just and smiling faces to see Santa, it was like it gave me a burst of energy to keep running back and forth with the pictures, especially to see those pictures too with Santa. It was just amazing. For me, I can't sit still. So so the fact I could just move back and forth is perfect.
Make sure you keep the don't play with the microphone. It sounds different. Would you, based on what I just heard, would you describe yourself as an extrovert? Do you feed off other people's energy?
Can I be an omnivert?
Sure.
If that's a word.
I think is it ambivert?
Ambivert or omnivert? It's one of the two.
Okay. why go that route? Is there something about just being alone with introvertedness where you're like, nah, I don't always want to be around people?
That is true, that part. And also, I mean, I feel like I can't be an extrovert 100% of the time. So I also
sure.
need my own alone time where I just need to huddle in a hall by myself, and it feels very wonderful.
As we talk about the work that both of you do in the community, Pastor Jason, do you have an answer for that? Do you feel like you're a very extroverted person because of the work you do?
No, I'm actually an introvert in the classic sense of the word. So introvert classically doesn't mean like afraid of people, right? Means I recharge. An introvert recharges by themselves on their own. And so I always describe myself as an introvert who can turn it on at the right moments.
So is it exhausting doing the work that you do then, where you need frequent introvert time, right? That time alone?
Yeah, it definitely takes it out of me. So when I came home from the Santa event, it was fun. It was great. Had a great time, but needed the rest of the afternoon just to kind of chill and be on my own.
How do you balance that? How do you go into a career knowing that you're going to have to spend a lot of time engaging with strangers?
Yeah, the biggest part has been setting some boundaries.
Which I've seen you do.
You have watched me do it, that's right. But even in my personal time, setting some boundaries and knowing, and just paying kind of careful attention to myself, right? We all know the cues of, why did I react that way? Or I maybe didn't want to say that in that way. Well, it's probably because it's time for me to do a little bit of recharging.
Nat, have you found that in this work? Have you learned over the course of this process more about yourself and your setting limits on certain things where you say, I'm an extrovert until I make sure that I have to do this for me? Did you learn more about this project?
I would like to say maybe, because I'm still on my reflecting. As I'm talking, I'm still thinking.
Sure. For those of you listening, Nat did just finish up this project and this internship with Pastor Jason, and so it's probably going to take, I don't know, weeks, but probably not months, but I think just a lot of reflection time to just figure out what on earth happened, because you both have done a lot. So can we transition into talking about this internship then? So you've done all this work with Pastor Jason and Yeva and the Cornerstone Lutheran Church. Where did you start this process of doing an actual internship? Where did that come into play?
So I started off trying to look for a cosmetology internship, but unfortunately, a big packet scared her away.
But curses whoever sent that packet.
Oh wow! Yes.
Bad move.
But I know that I wanted to get more with the community. And since I'm already in a church, I already know Pastor Jason, and I happen to know he has interns, and so I thought it'd be a great idea to just ask, starting with asking.
You also know Pastor Jason never says no.
Oh.
The answer for you is always yes. Okay, and then what did we do?
Well, then I asked. Well, first I asked Yeva. Because you were out of town, I believe, and so then
I think you were out of the country, weren't you?
Out of town or out of country? One of the two.
May have been. What was the time frame?
Weeks ago.
A couple, 6 weeks ago, maybe.
But so I asked you. I believe you wanted to just get more information. So I talked to Coach Edge, which you were able to get more information. And
we call that a SAM meeting for those of you listening who are like, how do I do internships? It's student advisor mentor. So you selected your mentor, you had your advisor, students there. We all get in a room and we just kind of talk about it and figure out what it would look like, right?
Yes. That day, I think I was really out of in a mood. But when we started having the conversation, I think I felt better.
Yeah.
Just because I was able to help others. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think then we just
What did you go into it wanting? I know we said we pushed kids into internships. Did you approach it with a certain philosophy of like, this is what I expect to do on this internship?
So for the internship with Pastor Jason, I was wanting to help any way I could. So it could have been a project to help others in need. I happened to get something along that words. Wasn't as fun. was a little boring.
Okay.
But yeah, I did get what I wanted because I believe that in the future, maybe weeks or months from now, it will pay off.
Okay. And so what were some of those? So let's actually talk about some of the places, because you guys, man, you took multiple field trips, right? Can we talk about some of those things that were set up?
So I think I want to talk about Barbara's place. I think it's
Deborah's place?
Deborah's place. Sorry. Deborah's place was interesting. I wasn't sure what to expect.
So describe a little bit what it is.
So hold on, let me see if I can get the right words.
We can also have Pastor Jason explain it too, if you're like, because you've done multiple work with Deborah's place, right?
No, I wish.
Oh, wow.
We just went once. I'm going to say that this is a place that's like a storage that collects items for people in need that will distribute to people that are helping or wanting to help others in need. Is that good?
That's well said.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to fill in anything, Pastor?
That's good with me.
How did you forge this partnership? Because I imagine the partnership with Deborah's Place was driven by you, correct?
Yes. I am hesitating because I want to give credit where credit is due.
Sure.
You've heard Nat mention Yeva a couple of times. Yeva she's a deaconess intern. Deaconess is a churchy word. Literally, it means servant. So she is. Wow. She's finishing up a master's level program where she's being equipped to take on service roles within the church, kind of social service type ministry. So she really has been the driver of that project. That came about, and this is something I think I shared earlier on in our first conversation. Partnership breeds partnerships, right? So we learned of Deborah's Place through a conversation with another group, which is called Sanctuary. Sanctuary is, wow. Yeah, and I'll just talk a little bit about what they're up to. They have a plot of land on the far east side of Indianapolis off of Midhofer Road, 30th and Midhofer, I believe, where they want to put 60 tiny homes for veterans and others who are in need. So if you're into that kind of work, look that up. It's a pretty cool project.
That's amazing.
But through that conversation, the lady who runs that organization does a lot of homeless, kind of street outreach, and so she knows of Deborah's Place and let us know of that possible connection. So, like I said, partnership breeds partnership.
Let's talk about that after the podcast too, because I got some ideas to run by you.
All right.
Okay, so talk about some of these opportunities, because one thing I noticed is that. We agreed, I think you did it for 4 different weeks, right? And so there were days where you came to school early, right? Where you were here probably half an hour earlier than you normally would. Would you talk about some of those, the things that you were doing each day? Can you run us through like a typical day in the life of Nat Neri Toledo with the Cornerstone Pastor Jason internship?
I think the main part of it was researching and just building up information for the brochure.
Okay.
Should I talk more on the brochure?
Yeah, let's talk about the brochure.
Okay, so the brochure is basically that has... Hold on.
Which there are multiple copies of this brochure sitting in front of us.
The brochure basically has resources or places that you can go to get whatever help you need. So basically, if you need help with domestic violence, you can just go straight to because I think there was a column on it, straight to a column that talks about has different places for you to go to, call, or just get information on. And there's stuff for food, hygiene, utilities, places that offer programs. And this just basically has different information on places that could possibly help you in your time of need.
Wow, that's
Can I say
amazing.
something about that real quick?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I want to say just a little bit about why that's so valuable for us, which is we've talked a little bit about the food pantry that we offer.
Yeah.
Some hygiene items, things along those lines, and so we're able when neighbors come with needs, we're able to meet certain needs. We have gas cards and other things, but there's a whole lot of other need that we just don't have the resources or the connections yet to be able to address. So one of the things that we've actually wanted for a long time was to have a database, a resource that we could hand to people who come especially for food, that would be able to help them get other connections and other needs met. So what I'm saying, I don't know who's listening, but saying all this to say, the project that Nat worked on was not busy work. It wasn't something we created just so she could have an internship.
Yeah.
She's actually doing something and has done something that we have wanted to get done
Wow.
for a long time. So if you're out there and you're listening and you're wondering, should I host a PPHS intern? Yes, they do good work, and it's getting things done that, again, we've wanted to get done that help us be better to our community.
Yeah. What's amazing for me working with Cornerstone, just having that partnership, as you mentioned, the food pantry, and the food pantry is not mine. It's not my idea. I don't run it. I'm just another gopher who, when a person comes to the door and says, "Hi, I'm hungry. Can I get some food?" There's times where sometimes I make them a bag, and
That's
there's
great.
no kids here, right? And what's amazing to me is what sense of community that has built inside me, where I truly feel, just by doing something small, just like that, I get to go home, and sometimes I'm in the neighborhood and I just feel like a productive member of the neighborhood, and you can't put a price on that for me, right? It's like, clearly it's having a greater impact in just how I feel,
Yeah.
right? Where it's like, I feel so much better about myself knowing that there's, and I look for it in the community, right? Because I take the bus. And so around this neighborhood, I do look for people who are hungry. And I'm very mindful of the fact that if anyone asks me ever for anything, which in this neighborhood is a lot, right? Hey, can you give me something to eat? It's amazing to know that answer is always yes.
Feels good to have a place to send them.
Because before it was, I'm sorry, I don't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that never makes you feel good, telling somebody, no, I'm sorry, I can't help you. But man, like, that is probably one of the best things that has happened to me this year, is just being able to change that answer from no to yes. So
That's really cool.
Thank you both for that.
Well, the other piece that Nat worked on, the other kind of principal project, actually relates to that food pantry. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, please.
Form?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we needed data in order to get bigger size donations.
Are we talking about math right now?
Kind of.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm so happy.
So to get larger donations from our community partners.
Yes.
And so it started off with a form. So we needed to create it. So we started off making a form so that every time, it doesn't matter if you already came, we have to fill out that form, and it just basically gives data for our community partners, just to get their donations.
Because most people don't just hand out money willy-nilly, right? Like, yeah, hey, you need money? Here's $1,000. I imagine most people want to see, well, prove to me that you need this money, right? How do you
something with it?
Yeah, how do you do that? With math, right? Math, it proves everything, right? Let me ask you this. So what hand did you have, and what math did you apply to this project?
Not
Not much yet?
We just started off with us just thinking of what to put on that form, which in time will give us the data. So maybe from a month now, we'll have the data to do the math with.
Do you think that having that conversation with Pastor Jason will make you look at math that you do in your coursework even a little differently?
A little bit.
In what sense?
Just the sense that I can put actual real life situations to that math.
You just gave the $1 million answer, Nat. Thank you very much. Can we talk about these XQ competencies?
Sure.
So Nat has this form sitting in front of her that is her project template that the three of us all filled out, and it has these questions, which are important. But for me, the most important piece of that document is the list of XQ competencies, which, if you don't know what those are, they were started by a company called XQ, which was created by Lorene Powell Jobs, the wife of Steve Jobs. So you'll know she's the co-founder and board chair of the XQ Institute. The goal is that's an organization that uses philanthropy, investing, storytelling, and convenings to create opportunities and develop innovative solutions to spur change in education, the environment, immigration, and health equity. So they're trying to really do some amazing things with these. What I like about them is that in my work with mentors like Pastor Jason, we worked with another group called Horner Automation. When I show them these XQ competencies, they see things that they're already doing, things that they can teach. It looks different than saying like, Nat has a math project. Pastor Jason, can you please teach her how to do math? No. The answer is probably going to be no, definitely. Right? but picking some of these competencies, Pastor Jason, can you teach someone community advocacy? That answer is probably going to be yes. What's great is if you go to the XQ competency website, you see the competencies, and then you see some rubrics on how to grade these competencies. Nat, what competencies did you pick for this project and why?
So basically, so community accuracy?
Yeah, pull that up.
Okay.
The microphone.
Oh, sorry. I'm not going to remember. Okay, community accuracy, community mobilization, and sharing ideas.
Oh, okay. Which one of those do you think you learned the most about on this project?
Community mobilization.
Okay.
Truthfully, I would say that's probably more where her work fit.
Cool. I agree. So if you look at community mobilization, the tagline of it is you have to learn to inspire and organize others. There are 3 things you can grade yourself on in community mobilization: effective advocacy, removing barriers, and building relationships. Pastor Jason, would you talk about which one of those do you think was the most integral to this project and why?
Well, I can, but I'm torn between 2 of them.
Okay.
Removing barriers was the one that first came to mind for 2 reasons, both of the projects that Nat talked about. One was removing a knowledge barrier, right, an information barrier by putting together the resource brochure. Now our neighbors know things they may not have known. They have pathways. They have pathways that they may not have had.
Wow. That
to me is really cool. The food pantry information collection form is the same. The barrier that we had there was we've at this point been based on basically individual donations, which often means Nat has experienced this. It often means there just isn't that much there to give. And we talked, and Nat talked really well about this. The next step of that, larger donations, more sustainable donations, means being able to have some data to prove that we're doing the right things with those contributions. So that form that allows us to collect the information that funders and other donors need removes a barrier for us, right? And the barrier that stands between us and having the resources we need to effectively serve our community.
I imagine it is far more important to build up recurring donations than one-time donations, correct? Like rather than having one big payment, having those same partners come back and work with you month after month would be very, very key, right?
It is. We often have very generous people who bring a trunk load of they went shopping and they found some great sales and bought a few extra bags of groceries. They bring them down. That's great.
Man,
but
that's amazing.
A few bags of groceries doesn't last very long, right? Sometimes they don't even make it up to the storage area. They go kind of right into somebody's hands or right into the outside box. So the recurring donations, and especially recurring donations at scale, will be really valuable for us.
That's excellent. Thank you. So if the XQ competency, the XQ Corporation, the Institute, is listening to this, I'm curious, are we allowed to, can we assess you on these competencies? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I will read the XQ competencies work on a 4-point scale, right? At the beginning is emerging, which just means you're starting to understand where you might fall on this scale, right, of building relationships. Developing means you're really starting to work on this skill. Proficient means you're good at it. And then applying is, okay, how do we start to use this to help others? How do we really show what we can create? I think about Bloom's taxonomy, like what can we create? What can we build? Which you did this project where you're creating pamphlets, you're creating projects, there's all these things. So I'm going to start at emerging and let's just kind of work our way down. And let's see, can you give me an example of how you did something and with this all year or on this project? Can you give an example of how you showed that you understand this? So for the first one is, I can describe ways in which community members help improve their communities. Can you do that?
Yes.
You could describe ways in which community members help improve their communities?
Yes.
Well, describe it. Describe one. It says ways, so multiple.
Okay, so I would like to say Yeva. She is really she puts the bags together. She hands them. I feel like she makes them feel welcomed.
Yeah,
that's a word.
That's a perfect answer. Can you give a second one? Because it does say describe ways. Is there a second way? You got a lot of community members in this building. You could probably pick Pastor Jason. What's a way that Pastor Jason helps improve his community?
Leadership skills, I believe, because you can't have an organization without a leader. Yeah. Leading the flock. I'm going to say that.
Can you describe a way that Coach Jess helps improve her community?
I'm emotionally, physically, every way. I'm going to say for physically, she just makes everybody feel welcomed, heard, and special.
Perfect. Pastor, do you approve? Do you think she met that competency?
I do. I could probably think of 5 or 6 other examples that Nat herself was involved in, but that may come next.
That's great. That is the next step, Pastor. Okay, so developing is, I can engage with others to help improve our communities. Do you feel like you met that?
I'm going to start on this one.
Yes, please.
Because one of the things, I've been waiting to say this all the way through our conversation, one of the things that really impresses me about Nat, early on in the school year, and she hadn't been here that long, which is why it was so cool. Somebody came to the door, and she answered the door. They were looking for, I think they were looking for food, a young lady looking for food. And I heard Nat say, "Yeah, you come right up here, help yourself to coffee. There's a coffee machine right around the corner. We'll get a bag put together. You're welcome to have a seat while you wait." That's exactly what I say. And I hadn't told her to say it. Nobody told her to do that, right? But she takes on, I have described you as the hostess.
Yeah.
She takes on a hostess role. No, it's a good thing. You have a hospitality about you.
Yeah.
When people are here.
I'm a people person.
So we'll give that to you. I can engage with others to improve our community. So you've clearly shown that, right? So you already move up to developing on this rubric. Again, go to the xqcompetencies.xqsuperschool.org site to see these competencies. They're amazing. The picture of community mobilization is, it looks like 3 people riding a bike, which seems a little unsafe, but they have helmets on, so they're doing well with it, right? That counts. So it's, how do we mobilize our community, right? Proficient in building relationships is, I contribute to building trusting relationships and group structures to create momentum and action toward goals that benefit my community. Wow, that's a lot.
So is there a way I could answer this in chunks?
I agree. So do you contribute to building trusting relationships?
Yes.
How so?
So I really believe in, if you're not honest, then how are you going to, if you're not honest with yourself
Sure.
and others, how are you going to start helping? So for me it's just keeping my word, or for my own self, I get my own word. And just filling up the box. It just starts so little. Just start with something little.
I agree. One thing that I very much appreciate about my own relationship with Nat is that she will tell me things that she knows I don't want to hear, right? And not that I don't want to hear it, right? It's that I'm going to give you constructive criticism, and Nat is very good at having those difficult conversations. And for me, like, I think sometimes you say, well, I think that's going to hurt somebody's feelings. And it might, but it does build a trusting relationship. Like, having those hard conversations are very important in building trust. So being honest about it without trying to be hurtful, right, with good intentions, I think is important for building trusting relationships. And clearly you have mastered that skill. Would you agree?
Yes. I just need to learn how to word it right.
Sure. You value honesty at such a rate that it builds trusting relationships, and I think that's a smart strategy. Do you contribute to building group structures to make to build towards goals?
So basically working with others to get to a goal.
Yeah.
Yes. So I worked with Yeva to get to the goal of finishing up the brochure and information. In a school project, I work with lots of other people to get stuff done here in our school. With Pastor Jason, I basically worked with him and Yeva to basically construct of what goes easiest in a food pantry. Do you want?
I'm going to add one to that. We haven't talked about another of your costumes. At Easter, we had breakfast with the Easter Bunny, and one of the
I
things,
was not the Easter Bunny.
You were not the Easter Bunny. The Easter Bunny was 12 years old and about 75 pounds.
Okay, fair enough.
Tiniest Easter Bunny you've ever seen, but good. He was funny. He enjoyed it. But one of the things that we knew we wanted was some carnival type games, for kids and families to play between breakfast and getting their picture taken. And we right away knew we wanted to ask the PPHS students to be involved with creating and running those games. When we did that, we right away knew we were going to ask Nat to be to be the point person on that, because she is really good at I'll say recruiting other students to take on projects like that. So one of the things they came out with, a lot of fun games. One of the things they came out with was pin the tail on the bunny, which was
interesting.
It was hand drawn. And had some Christmas bows to use as the tail. Worked out really great. So a good strategy, and I know several of them. And this is going way back, but even when we earlier on in the summer, and I guess it was the fall at that point. Although you guys start your school in the middle of summer, so it was still summer. When we had some from our community garden up on the north side, we had some produce that we wanted to share with neighbors, and we needed a sign to let them know that. And so Nat, I think, also and a couple others were involved in, and Nat, and you got Phoenix involved in that one, involved in creating a sign that said, free fresh produce that we put out every week with our produce. So
It's very sad the sign broke.
the sign broke, but what that means is we just have the opportunity to do one again next year. But yeah, Nat is really, really effective at recruiting other students and other people to be a part of getting things done.
So that's perfect. The last part is applying, which is all of that, and it builds towards a future that is sustainable, equitable, and just. Sustainable meaning that it's going to continue forward. Would you say that the work that the two of you have done during your internship is sustainable, meaning it's not over, right? This is going to continue going into the future?
I would like to say yes, and also I hope.
Yes. It sounds like all of Pastor Jason's work that he was just talking about is built for next year. It's not done. It's not something that exists in the past.
Yes.
Yes. Is it equitable? Meaning that, does everyone have a fair, equal access to what you are building?
Yes.
Okay. Is it just? That's a good word.
Hold on, which word?
Just.
It's just.
Yeah.
Just.
You want me to give you the dictionary definition of just?
I might need more context for this word.
Okay. Guided by truth, reason, justice, and fairness. Well, we were just talking about that, right? Your power is honesty, right? Is that you are someone who is guided by the truth and reasoning and understanding why you do things. So that would be the definition of just.
So then, yes.
I agree. Well, so what it seems to me then, and we can go through this and do removing barriers and effective advocacy, but I think the people listening see the point of this is what's amazing to me is how you did something that was incredibly difficult, right? Because these XQ competencies, they don't mess around, right?
Applying, very confused.
The very far one is incredibly difficult to get, but it sounds like because you partnered with someone who is an expert in this situation, who Pastor Jason probably grades himself on applying every day, right? Where you're like, that is the end game. And here, how long have you been doing this, Pastor?
I've been here at Cornerstone 4 years. I've been doing this about 9 years.
Yeah. So, and you're someone who, go back and listen to our first episode. Like, this is your life's mission, right? Is creating community mobilization and advocating for the people who cannot advocate for themselves is something that you have a lot of history and passion for.
That's what wakes me up in the morning and keeps me up at night.
And so I feel like because you chose someone who is a true expert in this, it seemed like I'm amazed at how you got applying. It seems like it was easy, right? Was it easy to get this? You were very able to articulately explain why you are applying.
So thank you for your compliment.
Yes, of course.
It wasn't all to do with me.
Sure.
Two things that come to mind for why it worked really well. The first is Nat came with a pretty focused question and goal in mind. She said, I want to learn more about resources that are available in the community and how we might build some partnerships or deepen a relationship with one of those.
Yeah.
It turns out the one that we're the two that we're most looking to deepen relationships with are not two that I had in mind when she came on board. So that's pretty cool. So the first thing that worked really well, she came with a pretty focused question. The second thing that worked really well is she was really receptive and teachable and willing to do the thing that, number one, met our goal, but number two, met her goal. This resource brochure helped her to learn about organizations in the community, but also by compiling them in this way, we got the tool that we had been looking to receive as well.
Sure.
So that synergy, I think, is part of what made the process work really well.
Synergize. Go check out habit 6 of the 7 habits of highly effective people for synergize. But you synergized perfectly. What I think about is everything lined up so well, because when I look at these XQ competencies, Nat already had an interest in pursuing competencies that are like this. There's some mathematical ones in there that would be tough for either you to do because you might not be as passionate about it, or for him to do because that's not his focus.
Because I don't know anything about it.
Right. And so for some kids, that might be one that they want to chase and they see value in. I am curious, how does this translate for Nat at other competencies? Like, what's next for Nat? Are you ready to continue down this path, or do you want to try other paths and say, I'm going to try something that I'm not as skilled at, or I don't have as much passion for, or what changes next? What's Nat's mission next year?
So for next year, I'm hoping to get onto a medical side. So maybe something to do with
something medicine related?
No, not necessarily medicine, but it goes along with helping. So nursing. So something like labor and delivery, or traveling, or just something that I can do to help others in the medical area.
Wellness is one of the XQ competencies. It means, I'm clicking on wellness, understand my physical and emotional health. So there's thoughts and behavior, meeting my needs, biofeedback, group identity. Wow, that's pretty. I can name that I experience emotional and physiological responses when my needs are not being met. It's like, we'll get you a nursing internship for next year. Oh, I describe the corresponding emotional and physiological responses and apply strategies to pay attention to my body to decrease stress and increase agency. That's an interesting one.
We could all do with that.
Yeah. So great. That's where we can move next. What was your biggest takeaways from this?
So my biggest takeaways of this is that I cannot sit still for long periods of time.
And when you get up, you help people?
That is my goal.
Okay.
So what I really got from this was understanding of what's around me, because I was very lost when I first came to this internship. I was like, oh my goodness. So all that research was like really hard, because I was like, oh my goodness, I need something that is at least 2 miles away from Cornerstone.
Not more than 2 miles away.
Or there you go.
And talk about why that was important.
So a lot of people that come up that need food or help in general don't have a car, so they walk everywhere, and so you don't want them walking for 3 hours just to get to this place.
I think about that too.
And so not only did I get to understand what's around me, but I also got to understand kind of what it was like to be a person that is in need of help. Because for me, it was a really big struggle to figure out, oh my goodness, how can I help them if I'm not kind of like in their shoes, I'm going to say.
Sure. Wow. Do you have any advice for students pursuing internships next year?
Be open-minded.
Wow. Can you elaborate on that?
for me, it's very hard to go into an internship expecting this exact thing, especially because you could expect this exact thing and go on the opposite track. For me, it was just on helping. So if you're gonna go into this internship, just kind of be like, how do I word this right? Help them where they need help.
Yes. Wow. Pastor Jason, do you think, what advice would you offer for students seeking internships?
Advice for students?
Yeah. Or you could also do mentors too.
I'll give both. My advice for students would be just do it.
Okay.
There is a big piece of paperwork and all those things, but there's also, I've said before to some of these students, every job I've ever had, I've never received a job that I applied for. Every job I've ever had was because of who I knew and what connections I had. And so
David Green at First Merchants Bank yesterday said the same thing. He says, every job I got was because I knew somebody.
Oh, nice. Well, I didn't get quite that high. But anyway, so there's so many cool opportunities to see things. And this was true for me as a high school student as well. There's things in the world that I didn't know existed. There are job possibilities that I didn't know were a thing, right? So there's great ways to see things. I actually have a thought for you later on about this. Great ways to see things that you wouldn't even have known were a possibility, and to make connections that can help you get there. So go ahead and do it. It's way better than doing math worksheets, right?
Absolutely. I'll have some coffee to that.
All right. What would I say to mentors? I might say the same. Just do it. You've heard already the kind of student that you're getting, the kind of student that will say help them where they need help, and means that. And I've been around at least 20 some of these students all year long. I can vouch for them, and I will. They're curious, they're open-minded, they're energetic, they understand and want to have real-world experience. And so the student that you're going to get is going to be a quality student.
Wow.
Again, the paperwork is the paperwork. Don't be afraid of it. The process was actually very easy. Nat did most of the paperwork. We had a quick conversation, and even then, I don't think I did anything other than we kind of knew, Nat and I, you have to have something to show at the end of your work. But like Nat said, we just did the things that Cornerstone felt like we wanted to get done. Nat was helpful and instrumental in that, and at the end, the internship worked out great. So don't be afraid of the process. Don't be afraid of the student. For me, it was a really rewarding experience. All my connections and interactions with these students have been really rewarding.
Wow.
And so as a potential mentor out there, I think that's what you're going to find.
Man, thank you both so much. I appreciate you coming on. Nat, you want to have some last words for kids going on summer break? You could just wish them a good summer. I don't know.
Party hard.
Yeah.
Party hard, but still do some studying, because you don't want the information you learned to fade away.
That's true. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.